Some wedding speeches are heartwarming, some are funny, and some completely dismantle your family's foundation right before your eyes. Imagine standing at the altar, about to say I do, when your own mother drops a bomb that shatters your entire world. Hey guys, welcome back to Hazel Tells Stories. Grab your favourite mug, because today's tale is about a wedding day bombshell. Our storyteller, Elara, had been planning her special day for years, dreaming of a perfect celebration with her beloved Gideon. She meticulously chose every detail, from the delicate lace of her gown to the vibrant floral arrangements for the reception. The venue was breathtaking, an old manor house with sprawling gardens, perfect for their fairy tale vision. Elara and Gideon had met in college, a whirlwind romance that blossomed into a deep, unwavering love. Their families were equally thrilled, or so Elara believed, for the union of these two wonderful souls. Elara's mother, Calliope, was always a bit of a character, known for her dramatic flair and unpredictable pronouncements. She was a woman who loved the spotlight, often making situations about herself, even at others' expense. Despite this, Elara cherished her mother and assumed that on her wedding day, Calliope would simply be supportive. As the big day approached, a faint sense of unease settled over Elara, a tiny whisper she tried to ignore. Calliope had been acting strangely, making cryptic comments and giving peculiar, knowing looks. She would say things like, "Soon, everyone will know the truth," or "Some secrets just can't stay buried forever." Elara dismissed these as pre-wedding jitters, her mother's typical way of trying to be mysterious. She was too busy with seating charts and flower deliveries to dwell on Calliope's strange remarks. The wedding morning was a blur of excitement, hairspray, and happy tears from her bridesmaids. Elara felt like a princess, walking down the aisle towards Gideon, who looked absolutely radiant in his suit. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with heartfelt vows and a palpable sense of joy and anticipation. Then came the reception, a lively affair with delicious food, dancing, and heartfelt toasts from friends and family. Gideon's best man delivered a hilarious speech, recounting their college shenanigans and Gideon's unwavering loyalty. Elara's maid of honor spoke movingly about their lifelong friendship and Elara's kind, generous spirit. Finally, it was Calliope's turn. She walked to the microphone, a sly smile playing on her lips. Elara's heart fluttered, with a mix of anticipation and a familiar twinge of nervousness. Calliope cleared her throat and began, her voice carrying clearly across the elegant ballroom. She started with sweet anecdotes from Elara's childhood, bringing tears to Elara's eyes. "My beautiful Elara, you have always been a beacon of light in my life," Calliope began, her voice soft. "And today, as you embark on this new journey with Gideon, my heart swells with pride." Elara relaxed, thinking her mother was finally going to deliver a genuinely loving, appropriate speech. But then Calliope paused, her eyes scanning the room, lingering on several relatives with a peculiar intensity. "However," she continued, her tone shifting slightly, "there is something I must share with everyone today." A hush fell over the room. Elara felt a prickle of alarm, her initial relief vanishing instantly. Gideon squeezed her hand, sensing her sudden tension, his brow furrowed with concern. Calliope took a deep breath, her gaze fixing directly on Elara, a strange glint in her eyes. "This isn't just Elara's wedding day," she announced, her voice gaining volume and theatricality. "It's also the day I finally reveal a truth that has been hidden for far too long." Elara's stomach dropped. This was not the sweet anecdote she had anticipated. This was something far more sinister. She tried to catch her mother's eye, so silently plead with her to stop, to keep her pronouncements to herself. But Calliope seemed oblivious, completely absorbed in her own dramatic moment, commanding the attention of every guest. "You see, Elara," Calliope declared, her voice now ringing with a strange mixture of triumph and sorrow. "The man you've always called your father, Silas, isn't actually your biological father." The words hung in the air, echoing in the stunned silence of the elegant wedding reception. Elara felt that went pale with shock, her mind struggling to process the incomprehensible statement. Guests began to murmur, their shocked whispers filling the room, a collective gasp of disbelief. Gideon's hand tightened on hers, his eyes wide with utter shock, reflecting her own profound confusion. Elara's mother, Margot, seemed oblivious to the chaos she had just unleashed, a strange calm on her face. She continued, her voice clear and strong, as if delivering a long-rehearsed monologue. "Your real father, Elara, is standing right here in this room with us today." Another wave of gasps swept through the guests, all eyes now darting around the room, searching. Elara felt a chill run down her spine as her mother gestured towards a man near the back. It was Bartholomew, a longtime family friend and her godfather, smiling faintly. Bartholomew, who had always been a quiet, unassuming presence at family gatherings. Bartholomew, who had held her as a baby and taught her to ride her first bicycle. The man who had always been a comforting, constant figure in her life, now revealed as something more. The revelation confronted Elara like a physical blow, stealing her breath and making her head spin. She looked from Margot to Bartholomew, then to Silas, who stood absolutely rigid, pale and speechless. Silas, the man who had raised her, loved her, and been everything a father should be. His face was a mask of betrayal and profound hurt, an expression Elara had never seen before. "Oh God, what are you doing?" Gideon finally managed to whisper, his voice raw with disbelief. But Margot just smiled, a triumphant, almost predatory gleam in her eyes. "I'm telling the truth, Gideon. It's time everyone knew the truth about our family." Elara felt a surge of nausea, the elegant reception hall suddenly feeling suffocating. Her carefully planned wedding day, her dream day, was crumbling into a public spectacle. The beautiful white tablecloths, the flowers, the twinkling lights, all seemed to mock the scene. Silas slowly walked forward, his eyes fixed on Margot, his posture stiff with unspoken pain. "You chose today, Margot, our daughter's wedding day, to do this?" His voice was barely a whisper. Margot merely shrugged, a casual gesture that was utterly chilling in its indifference. "It felt like the right time for a fresh start, Silas. A new chapter for everyone." Elara wanted the floor to swallow her whole, wanted to disappear from the horrified gazes. She felt a profound sense of shame, not for herself but for her mother's cruel theatricality. Bartholomew, meanwhile, stood awkwardly, shifting his weight, his smile now completely gone. He looked uncomfortable under the sudden, intense scrutiny of every single wedding guest. Elara couldn't reconcile the kind godfather with this new, shocking identity. It was like looking at two different people, a paradox she couldn't resolve in her mind. The entire room buzzed with whispers, speculation, and outrage directed at Margot. Some guests quickly made their excuses and began to discreetly slip away from the reception. Others stayed, morbidly fascinated by the unfolding family drama playing out before them. Gideon, ever her steady rock, gently squeezed her hand again, trying to offer silent comfort. But Elara felt completely adrift, her world turned upside down in a matter of minutes. Her mother had intentionally orchestrated this devastating public reveal. It was a calculated act, designed to cause maximum impact and emotional distress. Hazel could already tell this wasn't just a simple truth-telling. No, this was a display of power, a performance crafted to assert dominance. Margot had stolen Elara's moment, making her own selfish agenda the centerpiece. The pain for Silas must have been unimaginable hearing this public betrayal, and poor Bartholomew, caught in the crossfire of Margot's chaotic announcement. Elara's perfect wedding day was now irrevocably stained, a memory she would never forget. Her mother's actions spoke volumes about her character and lack of empathy. It was a public humiliation for everyone involved, except for Margot herself. And Hazel had a feeling this story was only just beginning to unravel. The silence that fell over the reception hall was heavy and suffocating, thick with unspoken questions. Guests exchanged uneasy glances, unsure how to react to such a profoundly shocking declaration. Elara stood frozen, her radiant bridal glow replaced by a mask of disbelief and profound hurt. Her eyes, usually sparkling with joy, were now wide and brimming with unshed tears. Bartholomew, ever the steady partner, immediately moved to her side, offering quiet support. He placed a comforting hand on her back, a silent anchor in the sudden emotional storm. Margot, however, seemed utterly oblivious to the chaos she had unleashed, a triumphant smirk on her face. She had wanted attention, and she had certainly achieved it, albeit at her daughter's expense. It was a classic Margot move, Hazel thought, a desperate grab for the spotlight. But this time, the consequences felt far more severe, a deep cut on a day meant for pure happiness. Elara finally found her voice, a strained whisper, asking her mother, "Why, Mum? Why today?" Margot just shrugged, a dismissive gesture that spoke volumes about her lack of remorse. "It had to come out eventually, darling," she cooed, "and everyone was already gathered." The sheer audacity of her reasoning was breathtaking, a masterclass in self-centered delusion. Bartholomew gently led Elara away from the microphone, trying to restore some semblance of order. The DJ hesitantly started some music, a quiet, almost mournful tune, to fill the awkward void. But the festive atmosphere was shattered, replaced by an undercurrent of tension and whispered gossip. Relatives quickly divided into camps, some glaring at Margot, others looking utterly bewildered. Hazel watched it all, feeling a familiar mix of frustration and profound sadness for her best friend. Margot had not just revealed a secret, she had openly disrespected her daughter's most cherished day. It was a calculated act of emotional sabotage, designed to inflict maximum emotional damage. This wasn't about truth, it was about control, and the perverse satisfaction of being the centre of attention. Hazel knew Margot thrived on drama, but this felt like a new, more venomous low. Elara had always tried to have a relationship with her mother despite the constant challenges, but this public betrayal felt like the final, irreversible fracture in their already fragile bond. The revelation itself was shocking, of course, but the timing was the truly unforgivable part. Imagine choosing your daughter's wedding to air out decades of family secrets. It stripped Elara of her agency, turning her special moment into a public spectacle orchestrated by her mother. Hazel could see the wheels turning in Elara's mind, processing the immense disrespect she had just endured. This wasn't just a memory, it was a deeply ingrained wound that would take years to heal. Margot's actions were a textbook example of a deeply narcissistic personality at play. Her inability to empathize with Elara's joy, instead twisting it to suit her own needs. It was a reminder that some people simply cannot bear for anyone else to shine brighter than them. And Elara, in her beautiful wedding gown, had been shining so incredibly brightly. Hazel knew with absolute certainty that things would never be the same between mother and daughter. This wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a deliberate, hurtful choice. Elara deserved so much more than this chaotic drama on her wedding day. She deserved peace, happiness, and genuine celebration with her new husband. Instead, she was left with the bitter taste of betrayal and public humiliation. Hazel wondered how Elara and Bartholomew would navigate this incredibly complicated aftermath. Their marriage began not with unadulterated bliss, but with a profound family crisis. It was a testament to Bartholomew's character that he remained so steadfast by Elara's side. He was her rock, her unwavering support in the face of her mother's unhinged behaviour. And for Margot, this might have been her ultimate, most detrimental choice, because true consequences were about to begin, and Hazel was ready to watch. Margot's actions on Elara's wedding day created an irreparable rift, one that would never truly heal. She had traded her daughter's happiness for a moment of destructive, self-serving drama. The shockwaves of her announcement rippled through the entire family, leaving behind only fractured connections. Elara, despite the initial pain, found immense strength in Bartholomew and their new bond. Their marriage, forged in fire, proved to be far more resilient than anyone might have expected. It showed that true love could withstand even the most malicious attempts to tear it apart. As for Margot, her grand reveal backfired spectacularly, leaving her isolated and alone. She had wanted to be the centre of attention, but instead, she became the pariah. Her desperate attempt to regain control ended with her losing everything that mattered. It's always fascinating to see how some people choose to burn down their own bridges. They think they are hurting others, but often they are only destroying their own foundations. Margot's story is a stark reminder that some secrets are best left buried, especially when exposing them causes far more pain than it does justice. It makes you wonder what truly drives someone to such extreme, self-defeating lengths. Was it jealousy, a need for control, or simply a deeply ingrained pattern of manipulation? Whatever the reason, her choice had permanent, devastating repercussions for her. Elara and Bartholomew, however, built a beautiful life together, proving love wins. Their strength in adversity became a quiet testament to their enduring commitment. What do you guys think was Margot's true motivation that day? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real-life drama, told Hazel style.